Welcome to Super Slasher, where every dollar spent with us is a quarter saved by you. The intercom boasts as zombified customers ignore it. The store claimed that they were 25% cheaper than their competitors, but everyone knew that they were there for convenience, not price. The truth is that they were 25% more expensive than the big stores. After graduating from high school, Carl got a job at the store so he could impress his girlfriend. He still lived with his parents at the time, and he had no bills, so he could take her on lavish dates. Now he has been stuck there for 2 years. There is nothing like being demoralized and looked down on for so long after feeling like you owned the world in high school to really put your life into perspective. See how that after the announcement, the speakers went back to their soft hits of the 50s. The crackling recording of harmonious dance rock will make you want to doo-wop the store owner in the face after a month. Carl slowly stocks the shelves, trying to waste as much time as possible so he does not have to go back to the register and make small talk with old cranky women, mad that their coupons have expired. As he puts cans of green beans on the shelf, one can slips out of his hand and smashes onto the ground. He quickly picks it up and looks around to see if anyone noticed. Nobody's in the aisle. He inspects the can and sees that it is dented on one side and has left a small hole that has sprung a drop of bean juice. He looks at the leak for a moment, then places the can on the shelf with the dent facing the back so nobody can see it. It's fine. Someone is going to eat them before they turn. Right after his hand leaves the can, a loud judgmental voice calls out to him, "Carl!" Fuck. The manager saw him. Carl jumps up and faces Jerry. Yes? Jerry is making a beeline straight for Carl. The scowl on his face lets Carl know this is serious. "What is this?" he asks as he holds up a jar of peanut butter. "Peanut butter," Carl asks, confused. "Funny," Jerry tells him as he reaches Carl. "This jar is labeled $12.95, and peanut butter is obviously not $12.95. Around the end of the aisle comes the voice of a Karen. I knew that it couldn't be that expensive. What would this world be coming to? The middle-aged woman had stayed out of view and waited for Jerry to confront Carl. Jerry chimes in to defend her. The label on the shelf clearly says $3.95. Is it really that hard to read a label? Carl pleads his case. I have not priced in almost a month. It wouldn't surprise me that you're not doing your job, but I know it was you. Jerry says, that's the problem with this generation. They can never take responsibility for their actions. Always think it's someone else's fault. This, Karen says, patronizing Carl, while she rides through life on the coattails of her husband. Weren't you pricing that aisle yesterday morning when you came in with a hangover? Carl smarts off. You have a real problem with authority. That's a write-up, mister. You'd better tread lightly in the future. The ice under your feet is getting thinner. Jerry threatens. He turns to the Karen to reassure her. I'm really sorry about this. Then he turns to Carl. Carl, aren't you sorry? I didn't do it. Jerry glares at him. I'm sorry that you are upset, and the peanut butter jar was mislabeled. Jerry digs into this manager's vest and pulls out a 5% off coupon. What was your name, ma'am? It's Karen. Knew it. It's always Karen. Here, Karen, use this the next time you shop with us here at Super Slasher. Thank you. At least I know there is one decent person in this store. The two employees stand there and watch Karen walk away. Once she is out of view, Jerry turns to Carl. Thin ice, Mr. Cruz. Thin ice. He leaves Carl in the aisle as he continues to lecture him. This is a really good opportunity here. You never know who is watching you. There are super slashers across the country. You don't want your name spread around in a bad way. You could end up being a shift manager one day if you ever stopped acting like a child, or even higher. The regional manager started out just like you, stocking shelves. He keeps talking about empty promises, but he is too far away for Carl to hear or care about. For the rest of the day, Carl was able to hide out in the back, stocking the freezer. Being alone in his thoughts really helped him to get more and more pissed off. So by the time he got to his apartment, he was seeing red. He did not have the time yet to bottle his anger when we walked through his front door. He would just stay quiet until he got it all pressed in there and put it on the top shelf, far from sight. Bree was sitting on the couch on her laptop when he came in. Oh my gosh, Is it already 6:30? She throws her computer on the couch and jumps up. Sorry, I don't have supper ready yet. I was trying to finish up this test. I just had a few more questions. That's okay, babe. I can fix it. As soon as he saw her, everything melted away and it didn't matter anymore. Carl searches the cabinets and freezer trying to find something for dinner. What do you want? We have chicken nuggies, soup, ramen, hot dogs, or a frozen pizza, I think. Bree gets back on her computer, finishing her test. Ramen is fine. As Carl starts to make the food, she finishes the test and closes her laptop. Finished. How was work? She calls from the couch. Just another day for Jerry to throw me under the bus. Even though he made light of it, she knew it bothered him more than he let on. Damn it, Jerry. Take some responsibility. She helps him get their gourmet dinner in the microwave. She tries to think of jokes to tell him, to cheer him up, but most fall flat. He fakes laughing at some, but he mostly smiles and keeps on making their noodles. She gives up trying to pep him up. Dude, I'm trying. You have got to stop caring about what he says to you. I want to have a good time tonight. I don't want you to be moping around all night. You are working so hard to get this degree so we can have a better life. I don't want you to have to be the only one with a good job. He's not your only manager. Don't worry about him. Just try to shine on the days Roger is there. You will get the manager position. I know you will. I don't think I will. They talk. Who knows what they say about me? Roger has been treating me differently. Don't let him beat you. Keep doing your best, even if it's not there. There are a lot of stores where you can become a manager. Keep getting the experience you need. Yeah, I guess you are right. How was your day? Bree lights up with excitement. My teacher was telling us today that there might be tourism agent positions opening up around the time I graduate. Yeah? Yeah. So, once I am working too and you are the manager of Super Slasher, everything is going to be better. The microwave beeps. Carl grabs his cup of noodles from the microwave. So, what do you think? I think we will have to start paying student loans soon after you get a job, he says as he heads to the couch. She grabs her cup, not knowing what to say to make him feel better. Carl turns on the TV as a commercial of a burger joint is on. He looks at Bree. Her face is glum as she pokes her ramen. Someday we will be able to afford to eat wherever we want. He tries to reassure her. I know, babe. They watch TV for the rest of the night, then go to bed. Bree falls asleep quickly, but Carl is stuck awake thinking about her face as she looks at her food. When he first got his job, he was still living with his parents, and he was able to take her out to all the nice restaurants in town. Sushi that floated to their table on sailboats, laughing over fondue, burning their food at one of those places where you cook your own food. A couple of teenagers not caring at all in rooms full of middle-aged and older people. That all came to an end when they thought it would be a good idea to get an apartment together. The sun is starting to come up, and he is still lying in bed, staring at the ceiling. He looks at her sleeping, then gets up and leaves the apartment. Bree wakes up to an empty bed. She normally wakes herself up before Carl is awake, kicking the blankets. She could assault him in his sleep, and he would not have any idea. She must have actually slept good last night if she's waking up after him. She takes the win and goes to the living room to watch TV for a bit to wake up. When she steps into the living room, she sees Carl sitting on the couch. He has a smile that she has not seen in a long time. In front of him on the coffee table is a pile of money. What is that? Did you rob a bank or something? Yes. Obviously, the first place a couple in their 20s who just fell into some money would go is a fast food restaurant. As they stare at the menu, they realize that they haven't been to a fast food place in a really long time. They had forgotten what their go-to meal was. What do you want? Carl asks her. You can get anything you want. I don't know, it all sounds good. Carl looks at the 16-year-old girl running the counter, annoyed that they are holding up the line, staring at the menu. We will take one of everything on the menu. The cashier grows more annoyed by the prank. What? We want one of everything on the menu. Haha, seriously, I don't have time for this. What do you want? Carl pulls out a stack of cash and shows the girl. Whoa, okay. It will be out in a moment. It was the first time in almost a year since they had felt that full. They have always had enough to eat, but being sickly stuffed is a luxury they haven't experienced in a long time. Their table is covered with empty wrappers, but mostly piled with untouched breakfast sandwiches still wrapped up. Carl is trying to force down the rest of a sausage biscuit, and Bree is poking her biscuits in gravy. So, seriously, where did the money come from? Did your dad give it to you? She asks him. I robbed a bank. He can't be serious, but she also knows him well enough that she knows when he is lying. How did you do it? If he is lying, he won't be able to tell a whole story without her knowing he isn't being honest. You know my aunt, Jeanette? The one who works at the bank? Well, when I was younger, she told me how their security works. They have to do whatever you ask because it's safer for them or whatever. I put on a wig and some glasses and just walked in and asked for what was in their drawer. I got about $2,800. Bree looks around to make sure nobody is close enough to hear them. Why didn't you ask for all of the money in the bank? By the time I did that, the police would have shown up. Bree studies him, but she can't find a reason not to believe him. Did you take a weapon? No, I just walked in and asked for the money. The excitement leaves as reality sets in. What if they find out it was you? They would have found me by now if they were going to. It's not like they have CSI Miami on it. It's just some dumb local cops who gave up before they even got to the bank. Then her conscience gets the best of her. But what about the bank? What about the person who owns the bank? What if they had a family? You took their money. They have insurance or something. The FDIC, right? Besides, they are just a bunch of corporate pigs. We have to pay taxes on everything, and they don't have to pay anything on the interest paid back to them. Her judgment softens with that thought. Well, look at my little badass Robin Hood. They smile at each other for a moment. Dude, I'm so full. I can't eat anymore. Yeah, me either. What are we going to do with the rest of this food? She looks out the window at the busy road. There is an intersection a block away. Each corner of the intersection has a homeless person. The smile disappears from her face. Take from the rich. Bree runs to each of them, nearly getting run over because she is so excited, and hands each of them all of their leftover food. As Bree and Carl go back to their car, Bree looks back at the people whom they fed. You did that, she tells Carl. He looks back and smiles at her. What do you want to do next? All of the dates that they used to go to flew through her head. Can we go to the arcade? They used to go to the arcade every Tuesday after they got out of school in their senior year. The arcade was normally dead throughout the week. They could play any machine that they wanted as much as they wanted without worrying about some booger-picking 8-year-old crying for their turn. After a couple of hours playing at the Cyclone game, they had built up a pile of tickets. Carl had to get a worker to refill the tickets twice. They both know that hitting the button right on the jackpot light was probably a scam, but they didn't care. It was fun, and after putting in enough money, they were guaranteed to win eventually. If it were programmed to win after a certain amount has been paid in, then it takes the pressure of skill out and leaves it to waiting for the payout. Bree looks down at her pile of tickets. I hope I have enough tickets to get that smiley face clock. I think you are fine, Carl says, laughing at their stacks. She grabs her tickets from the machine, then takes Carl's and runs to the prize counter like she would when she was 13. How many do I have? She asks the teen running the prize counter. Even the cashier is impressed with the amount of tickets they were able to rack up. You have 36,753 tickets. What would you like? With a youthful shimmer in her eyes. I want the clock. The cashier pulls over a ladder and grabs the clock for her. What else would you like? That's all, thanks. She grabs the remaining tickets off the counter and her clock and heads for the door. Carl watches her leave in shock. He couldn't believe that she didn't get a lava lamp at least. As she is leaving, she hands the rest of the tickets to a random kid that she walks by. They drive around for a while, trying to think of something else to do. So I was thinking, Bree says, do you want to call up Justin and Alicia? We can take them to lunch. One of their favorite joints when they were in high school was this steakhouse called Peter's Steakhouse. It was a $50 steak, but who cares when you don't have any bills? Or you own a business that runs itself. Most of the people in there are a part of the latter, so when 4 20-year-olds high on life come in, they are seated against the wall of a side room, out of sight. Justin used to play video games with Carl all through middle school and into high school, but after they found a different D-pad to play with, they stopped hanging out unless they had their controllers with them. They started going on a lot of double dates with their new interests, as long as afterwards they would play a better Halo with their new covenant. Justin and Alicia look over their menus nervously. Are you sure you want to do this? This place is really expensive. Alicia asks Carl and Bree. Yeah, it's no problem. Carl won a lottery ticket yesterday. We want you guys here with us to experience it. Bree explains to her, thank you guys for taking us out. Alicia accepts the gesture. This is really nice. I do not want to sound rude, but don't you guys need to keep the money? How much did you win? I didn't win the lottery, Carl confesses. Bree elbows his ribs under the table, but it is obvious. What? I don't want to lie to them. Carl, shh. What is it? Justin asks. Did you knock her up? Is that what you are trying to tell us? Is that what we are celebrating? Bree gives in. Honestly, she looks around to make sure nobody in the restaurant is listening to them. Carl robbed a bank. Justin and Alicia both call out. What? Dang, Bree, I wanted to tell them. Carl complains. But for real? Justin asks. Did you finally get the manager position? Yes, we are celebrating. I'm the boss now. Carl brags. Congrats, man, that's awesome. Alicia raises a glass to him. Don't lie. You're not the boss. You just robbed the bank. Come on, babe. I robbed that bank like a boss. Justin tries to understand. So what's going on? What happened? I did rob a bank. Don't tell anyone. We just really needed the extra cash, Carl says. We needed to eat something besides ramen again. Bree jokes. Alicia can't believe what they are telling her. Are you serious? How did you do it? I just walked in and asked for the money and they gave it to me. No way, man. They don't just hand out money, Justin says. They are afraid of what you might do if they don't do what you say, Carl brags. Alicia looks at Justin for a moment, then speaks. Do you want to go to the salad bar with me? They leave Carl and Bree at the booth. Do you know what I think would be really romantic? We could get a hotel after this, one with a pool and a hot tub. After more steak than any of them should have been eating, they all left the restaurant. Carl had heard of a nice hotel in town, but he had never been to it. The only people who go to a hotel in the town they live in are married men with a side piece, or families that are smart and take their kids on vacation and just go to a hotel in town to get away from the house without the road trip. Bree goes into the bathroom to change into her bathing suit while Carl crashes on the bed and flips on the telly. The news is on. He never watches the news, but he also never stays in a hotel in his hometown, so why not? A story about cats in hats is on. A yearly contest that takes place each year in their town, where pet owners dress up their pets and drag them around to try to impress a panel of weirdos. After the story is over, the anchor catches Carl's attention. An armed robbery was stopped today by police. A young couple tried to rob the Great United Bank at gunpoint, but when police arrived and arrested them, authorities believe they were responsible for the robbery this morning at Lebany Bank. The news shows shots of the bank surrounded by police. Then it shows Justin and Alicia's mugshots. Oh my fuck, get in here, Carl yells at Bree. Justin and Alicia robbed a bank. Bree runs out of the bathroom, barely pulling her bathing suit over her tits. They got caught. What? They used guns, dumbasses. The color rushes from Bree's face. Are you serious? We need to help them. What can we do? We need to bail them out. We have already spent most of our money. We can't afford that. They stare at the TV for a moment, not knowing what to do. Was it easy to rob that bank? She asks. Yes. Can you do it again? Yes. As the sun is coming up, Carl sits in the driver's seat of his car. He is wearing a baseball cap and sunglasses. He puts super glue on his fingertips and uses the air conditioner vents to dry them. Bree sits in the passenger seat, watching him get ready. Are you sure about this? After we get them out of jail, I'm going to take you across the country, just me and you. He gets out and goes straight inside. Once he is in, he takes a second to look around. There are 4 tellers behind the counter and another 3 in offices to the side. He tries his best not to seem suspicious, but he wasn't expecting there to be so many workers. Can I help you? One of the tellers calls from behind the counter. Yes, Carl says as he walks up to the counter. I would like to make a withdrawal. The teller pulls out a withdrawal sheet. Okay, if you could fill this out with the amount. And could I get your debit card and ID? I would like to withdraw everything from the drawer. Excuse me. Carl can see the look of shock and terror in her eyes. Yes, everything in your drawer. Yes, sir. She pops open her drawer, but Carl can see her reaching under the counter. No, he whispers to her. She pulls her hand back before she has a chance to push the alarm and grabs the money out of her drawer. She puts it neatly in an envelope and hands it to Carl. Thank you. Have a nice day. He turns around and walks out of the bank.